Welcome everyone to episode 3 of Historias Flamencas. Our guest today is Mark ALDEN. I met Mark at the Academy of Spanish Dance, that is the Esmeralda Enriquez School of Spanish Dance, as a Palma student of mine just before the COVID pandemic. So I thought he would make a great guest today because he's a very avid follower and aficionado of flamenco. He's danced it, he's practiced the rhythms, and he's often out seeing all the shows in Toronto. Welcome, Mark, today to
Thank
Historias
you for having me. I
Flamencas.
appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So my first question to everyone is always how did you discover flamenco? How did you find it?
Well, I've been, pardon me, I've been interested in ballroom dancing for many years. My parents did that when they were teenagers and they're in their early 20s. And when I moved to Toronto, I was looking for a place that I could do ballroom dancing in my wheelchair. In case you haven't noticed, I use the wheelchair. And the closest ones that were available were either in London, Ontario, or Ottawa, which is 3 or 4 hours either side of Toronto, and just no way I could do that. And I forget exactly how I found it, but through that I found flamenco dancing for wheelchairs in Toronto. And I decided, oh, this sounds interesting, and looked it up, went to the first class, and I've been doing it ever since. And that was 2016, 2015. So,
Oh, well, leave it to Toronto to have that kind of stuff, right?
yeah, you would think Toronto, a city of 3 million people or 2.5 million people, would have something like that. But no, we're very behind the times. So then
Okay, so
through the
you
ballroom through the ballroom dancing, I found the flamenco for it's called real dance. I'm not sure if it's still around or not. It kind of went poof after during the COVID, and I wanted to pursue it more. I wanted to pursue the Palmas more, and they put me in touch with Esmeralda, as you mentioned, and I found you through that through her classes, and I've been doing it ever since.
right.
So
Yeah, and I'm so glad you have. I had such a great time in the studio before COVID when we could actually be together in the
yeah,
studio and do palmas together.
hmm I
We
agree.
moved it online, and as you were mentioning, it wasn't as much fun, nowhere near as much fun. But you guys hung in with me, and you learned a fair bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I feel a little. I felt a little bit out of place because I joined about 2 or 3 weeks into the course. So I think there was a lot of stuff in the first couple of weeks that I missed that would have helped me immensely had I been there. And I still feel to this day that I'm behind where I should be. But that's just my own personal insecurities.
It's interesting that you bring up that like insecurities because we all have them for many things, but I think a little extra when we have to perform anything,
Yeah,
right? And when you're in a group of people and you're trying to get it right, and I try very hard as a teacher to make sure that everyone understands that it's okay, absolutely okay to do things wrong, because then you can fix it and do it right.
hmm
It's not a big deal at all, and it's much more about the experience. For me, definitely as a teacher, that just having people around to share something that you love,
hmm
it kind of course, all your students want to do better and you have to correct their mistakes. But from the perspective of a teacher, like when I was a student, I was kind of losing my mind all the time. I'm like, oh, I suck. I don't know this. I'm behind. Exactly what you said. I missed that. I'm never going to catch up. I don't know. It was just a big ball of stress a lot of the time. But then there was that community aspect of it. But as a teacher, looking at students, when students tell me that, I feel like saying, no, don't feel like that, because there's time, you'll correct the mistakes, but just being able to share something you love with people
yeah,
and not have
exactly,
to like be academic about things or just sit and talk. Like you can do something together and bond
exactly.
that way and create.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still I'm
And
still
you hung
friends. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Like I said, and I'm still friends online, at least with Dave Castles, who was one of your students, and we occasionally meet up to go
Correct.
to we go to the Drum Trap Taberna, which is where the flamenco community meets once a month here in Toronto for a free concert. So every now and again we'll meet up, or you know, meet on online somewhere, and yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's those kinds of connections that are worth it, that are worth being involved. Like the first episode of Historias Flamencas I did with Katarina, who I met through flamenco, and she's my best friend in the world. And we've been friends, I think, over 15, almost 20 years now because of flamenco.
I
Right. And those connections. And Drome, I miss Drome so much because Drome is so fun. Like the juerga style. Are they still doing the juerga style where people are coming up and doing palmas and all of that?
Oh yeah, they still do the same thing they've been doing. Yep, just rather than doing it once a week like they were before the COVID, they're now doing it once a month. They've got so many other acts that they need to put on or want to put on from all around the world, not just flamenco, but all kinds of different music. So you can have jazz, you can have hip hop, anything there, and it's a great community there. They treat me like family. The owner comes over, greets me, sits down with me, chats with me for a few minutes.
Shemes and Maria. Yeah.
Misha, I think.
Misha's owning it now. It's no
Oh,
longer
or
with.
maybe he is. Maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe I thought he was the owner, but he's.
He's a co. There's like five people. I think they all like
Oh,
collectively own it.
yeah,
So you're right. Misha is an owner, but
yeah.
I think Shemez and Maria started it, and Misha, yeah, definitely. Misha's a
Okay,
sweetheart.
I haven't met the
Yeah,
other two, so yeah.
yeah.
But he's out. But and even the flamenco community, they always come over and say hi to me, chat for a few minutes before going on stage. It's really great. You know, it really is a community.
Yeah, and it's something to look forward to. I miss it enormously. We don't have anything quite like that in Phoenix.
Mm,
There's a place called Tapas Papas Frita where I actually was last night because it was the International Day of Flamenco yesterday. But it's not like the show is the show. And yeah, you can hop on stage and do a Sevillana or something, but it's not inviting people to like perform, do their pataditas. It's not as much juerga style. And I really miss it because
yeah.
that in Toronto is unique and super special. I love that. I miss you
Yeah.
guys.
Oh, we
I
miss you
miss being,
too. Oh,
I have to come back. I have to come back. It's been
please,
too
yeah.
long.
And
So
maybe in the
you said you've been taking classes since, was it 2019 then? You did a flamenco
2018, I think I
wheelchair.
started with you.
Really? Okay. Did you not do some flamenco with Claudia and Julian, the dance for the
We did,
wheel?
yeah. The way I got into that was through the ballroom dancing. The owner wanted to do something a little different for a show that they were invited to every year, and I don't know how they connected with Claudia and Julian from Kitchener Waterloo, but they came up for about 6 months, once a week for an hour, and they taught us the ins and outs of flamenco dancing and palmas. And at the end of that 6 months or whatever it was, we went to our competition. We did our thing, and everybody joined, loved it. I thought it was great. So I wanted to.
I loved it. I think you sent me video of it or someone sent me video. I
It's on
saw. I know
Facebook.
I
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, it was fantastic. You guys did a great job. You danced a bit with Claudia, right? Like you guys danced something
there
together.
was a little there was a little bit of choreography there, but not a lot. There was some.
Yeah, but it's still, I mean, it's just the experience. I find just getting out, moving, doing things, and it's music, it's still art.
Mhm.
I love it. I loved it. I thought it was fun. It was really great.
So through
And
the, oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say through Claudia and Julian, they connected me with Esmeralda's studio, and we talked for a few minutes. And she was a little reticent about me doing it because I'm in the wheelchair. She wasn't sure how I would handle it. And then we sort of talked about the palmas, and that's where I met you. So
Right. Yeah. And that, I mean, Palmas is fine. It's just clapping. So, and I had a great time. I love doing that with you guys. I love teaching the Palmas class because it's just rhythm and you can
mhm.
have fun. And And then it's important too, because I'll go to papas frita here, and a lot of people come, but they don't know the flamenco and they're not sure how to clap, but they so badly want to.
Yeah,
So I see them just kind of like looking, and they're like, wait, this is more complicated clapping.
that was
And
me.
they're trying, they can't figure it out. So that's why I like, if for nothing else, a palmas class, just so that you can enjoy a performance and understand
Yeah,
what the palo is, like what the rhythm is, and what people are doing, whether it's a tangos, whether it's an alegrías, whether it's a bulería,
yeah.
and you feel more part and connected. Just that, like just the rhythmic part helps
Hmm.
you, I think, connect more, right?
Oh, I agree. Yeah. Unfortunately, with me, because I'm not Spanish. I don't come from a Spanish background. My parents are English. I'm used to the Western European 4/4 time signatures. The 6, 12, 8, and 12 threw me right off. And even to this day, I'm still a little bit about the
You're
different. Go ahead.
You're not alone, but I'll give you a trick, since we haven't had a promise lesson for forever. Let me give you a trick. There's a cheat. So for the 12 count, you can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Oh, okay.
So mathematically, that's 2 times 3 and 3 times 2. So both are six, and 6 and 6 is 12.
12, yeah.
So that gives you the beats exactly where they need to be. The 12, 3, 6, 8, 10. You can do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you have it,
Yeah, okay.
right? And then you go by sound anyway. So,
Yeah.
but you did, I know, because I went to drum with you and I watched you and I questioned you. And you did know the difference between sevillanas, bulerías, like all of that. We learned all of that just through palmas, and I think that amplifies the appreciation, which
Mhm.
is fun. It's fun to be involved, and that's part of the reason. And actually brings me to the next question: like, what attracts you so much to flamenco? I know for me, it's the rhythm, and also being able to be. You feel part of something. It's not like the performance is just over there,
Yeah.
and you're not part of it, right?
Yeah, as you said, it's the community. That's the main thing that keeps me coming back is the people, the friends I've made. They were very welcoming when I first joined up at the Drome, and they would come over and chat with me. And I'm still meeting some new people, and they're very welcoming, and I just love them. I don't see them very often. I only see them once a month, but it's like a month goes by, and we're nothing. There's 5 minutes have gone by. It's no time at all. So we just pick up right where we left off a month ago. It's really nice.
Yeah, Toronto is a special community. It's a beautiful community. I wasn't there for years and years and years. And one thing I'll never forget is, that I spent some time in disability as well. And when I
Mhm.
came back, I used to dance with Tamar
Ah,
at a place called Plaza Flamenco. And it had been years, obviously, since we'd seen each other. I think it was a total of almost 13 years by that time, or 12 years. And when she saw me, she did the opening that we used to do together and pointed to me and said, "This is for you." And like my heart just burst open, because I
oh,
was like,
sweet.
yeah, they're very, yeah, I'm going to get like emotional thinking about it. It was just, that community is special.
Hmm.
It's very special. That meant so much to me because I didn't get to dance that. And then she remembered that we danced together, and that's how she welcomed me back. And
Yeah.
those are priceless moments. And actually, it's a very interesting thing. I haven't gotten into it yet, but you just reminded me. They're now, like, scientists are now trying to study, why is it that people who dance together have a much more tight or profound bond
Mm.
than people who do other things together. So I didn't know that, but I didn't know that intellectually or academically, but I have been feeling it for the past 20 years,
Yeah, yeah.
that all the people I've ever danced with, right, or made music with, they become like family. It's like they become sort of part of your DNA, and it'd be interesting. I mean, who cares neurologically why, but it's interesting that they're studying it.
Yeah,
Whatever they say, I know how I feel, right?
yeah,
But it's interesting that it's being studied, because I think there is value there.
yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
if you if you had to say, like, how do you think flamenco has benefited or impacted your life, like since you met flamenco in this community?
How has it impacted my life? Makes me get out of the house a lot better, a lot more. It's a good 3 or 4 kilometer round trip from my home to the Drome Taberna out in the West End and back. So it gets me out of the house once a month, which is nice. Get some exercise, fresh air. The people there are great. The staff at the tavern and the flamenco community. You know, as you say, it's a family, so it's really helped me psychologically. I'm rather quiet usually, and I'm a little reserved, quite reserved actually, in strange situations. But they've helped me grow and come out of my shell a little bit more, I think. So
Yeah, and that's wonderful. And you've made it, you must like it a lot because you've made it through snowstorms. Like you've come in. I remember seeing you in snowstorms. We're like, is Mark gonna make it today? And we were really hoping you'd come. And we're like, yep, he's here. Snow or no snow.
I'm glad it's not once a week anymore. I'm glad it's only once a month because wheeling in Toronto snow, for anybody who hasn't been in Toronto, is very difficult. It would take me 3 times as long
I
to
know.
go from my home down to the Drome because of 2 or 3 inches of snow. And I don't drive.
Right.
And TTC has been really well. They've improved over the last few years, especially since COVID. But I
Well, I'm
still prefer to
glad.
wheel. I still prefer to wheel everywhere, and it would take me twice as long, 3 times as long some nights to get there and back. So
Yeah, and it's cold. And so I'm just thinking you like it a lot. Because it's a lot of work to get there and back.
either that or I'm crazy. One of the two.
Either way, it's fine. It's all
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I enjoy
Uh,
it.
yeah. And so do you do it at all anymore? I mean, practicing anything?
Occasionally I pick it up. I still go to the Drome, and I don't know if you're aware, but the Rivoli on Queen Street has been having flamenco concerts about once a month through Kyo Asoka, and
Kyo, yeah.
I've been going down there as well. So I don't know about the winter time, but I've seen some amazing flamenco dancers down there, and they're professionals from Spain. And what was the other one? Who was it recently? Osuna? I can't remember. Yolanda
I
Osuna.
I should probably keep up a little bit more. I haven't been because I've been
Hmm.
so busy trying to get, well, I'm into the flamenco community here, but trying to grow a business and, trying to perform. We have a gig coming up on, what's more than gig, it's a show with the Phoenix World Arts Collective.
Hmm.
We have David Gutierrez Molina coming. I made it to the Albuquerque Flamenco Festival. It's just been flamenco, 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 flamenco in Phoenix and Albuquerque, and trying to really understand and get to know this community here that I've lost touch with the one there.
Yeah,
Other than seeing a lot on Facebook, like La Cueva is a big thing. They
yeah.
have that performance, and then at the Rivoli, and then Tamar is doing, I don't know, I think she was at Lula Lounge, like doing all women in song, just so many beautiful things.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I truly miss around Toronto. It's for music and culture, it's a very developed city.
And this weekend apparently is the Duende concerts at the Aga Khan Museum. I don't know if you were aware of that, but
That's right,
the
every
10th anniversary
November.
this year too. So that's another good thing.
Yeah. Well, now I have to come next year in November.
We're going
I
to
have
the,
to plan.
we'll go to the Aga Khan together. We'll go see a couple of concerts together. You,
Okay.
Ryan, and me. We'll all go. And well, unless it's Ryan's thing or not, I don't know. But
No, we'll definitely, if he can make it, if he's not working, yeah, I think we should. It's time for me to come back to Toronto, and I would definitely love to do that. I would love
absolutely
to do that.
sounds good.
So I have maybe a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
This is from my perspective because I'm looking at flamenco from the perspective, well, obviously of the dance itself, but flamenco for life. Like what, in terms of any life lessons, has it taught you any life lessons that you can think of?
Perseverance. I mean, for when I first started, I was two left wheels. I didn't know what I was doing, but I've stuck with it. And even with with a break during the COVID, which was good for me because it gave me a chance to ruminate on the things I'd learned with you and through other, going to the drone and stuff. And I was able to assimilate what I'd learned into something that was concrete for me. And I'm a much better Pomero than I was back then now. So that's one thing I've learned.
That's wonderful. Yes, flamenco is quite the thing for perseverance and resilience
Yeah,
because it breaks all of us a little bit. It's
never give
quite
up.
difficult and intricate. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And
So,
because
I
of my
mean, that's
disability, sorry, go ahead.
no, no, you go ahead,
I was gonna say,
please.
because of my disability, I have some small cognitive issues, and I sometimes get overwhelmed with things. And I found that with a lot of the class, I didn't have enough time between one class and the next to assimilate what I'd learned that night or that week. And we next thing we're on to something else. I'm the kind of person I like to learn one thing one at a time, learn it well, and then move on. But it didn't work out that
I
way.
might have this in that sense, I might have the same cognitive issue you feel you have because I had to relearn a lot of things after being disabled.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, teaching for 26 years, it's funny, sometimes you'll go a very long time and not have that click or light bulb moment of, wait a minute, these two things are alike or they're related and they work together. And I don't know if this helps you, but one of the things that I realized is we call it in teaching, we call it scaffolding. So you just take one thing at a time
Mm-hmm.
and then add. And you want to do, I think I might have mentioned it to you guys, but I'll remind you, you want to be 70, at least 75% secure in whatever you have before you add the next thing, even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you scaffold it in, because I have to teach myself this way. I quite honestly, like now that we're doing I'll be very honest, learning a new choreography in Alegria. So there's some new llamadas and things I've never done before.
Okay.
And the way I always learn it is first I do the mechanics like right foot, left foot after that, right? Then you do a palm in my hair, then you do. So it's so basic. Like I'm just teaching my body the order of the motions that every physical part of my body has to do.
Mm-hmm.
Forget compass, forget anything, just the mechanics, pure mechanics. Then, when my body knows the sequence of events, feet first and head, I always do feet and head. Then I'll do the arms, then I'll tie the two together. And then, when I know that my body knows the sequence and can do the things in the right, we call it dibujo, like everything is in the right direction, the right shapes, then I add the timing
Right.
slow, like 60 to 80 beats per minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I can do it, then it's amazing how in the same day I can go from 80 beats per minute. But if I have it down, 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 down at 80 beats per minute, it'll go up to about 100 to 110.
Yeah.
So I've been teaching for 26 years and really like researching it.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of my students have cognitive issues. I think I might have the same cognitive issues when I start learning new steps in the studio. I don't know how many times I'm like, yeah, I have danced. I swear I have. I have danced for a while, right? But I feel like I have no idea. I can't get it together. Then I go home by myself and break it down slowly and spoon feed myself. So this is a long way for me to say I wouldn't jump to the conclusion you have a cognitive issue when it comes to flamenco. I don't know about other things, but I feel like we all feel we might have a little bit of a cognitive
A little bit.
issue
Yeah,
because
I
it's,
think we all do. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Yeah. Then
yeah.
also I took some classes after COVID. There was a gentleman called Javier who came from Spain. Apparently, he came
Okay.
on Friday from Spain and was at the drum on that Sunday. This is a couple of years ago now. Very nice
Hmm.
young gentleman, introduced to me by Shalita, one of our flamenco people here in Toronto. Another great person, and
She's
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she's just fantastic. And we got to talking a little bit. And about a year ago, I took some classes with him for about 4 months. We did weekly classes, and I went hard. I mean, I dove right in. I was watching videos for hours on end, several days a week. Uh, and I got burned out. I'll be honest, I got burned out, but it
Yeah.
really helped. And since then, I've just sort of watched a few videos. I go to the Drome and do whatever, just taking my time, and it, I've really been able to assimilate what I've learned with you and with Javier over those few years. So it's really good.
I'm so glad. You know what? Now you're totally motivating me. I have to come back next year in November
Oh
so
no,
I can see how you've progressed. We'll go to Drome together, we'll go to Aga Khan and hang out.
yeah,
I'm gonna make it a date. I promise I'll find a way to get there next November.
sounds good to me.
It's
Yeah,
time. Okay.
you had one more
Well, Mark,
question?
I think that's it. No, I
Oh,
think that's it. I think we said all there was to say unless there's something you'd like to add.
no, we're good. Yeah, I think I said everything. If there's anything that
Okay.
needs to be redone because of the video quality or something, we were having some issues there earlier. Let me know. I'm more than willing to go over something and say something again if you need me to. So we'll see you.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're great. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really love catching
Been
up
my
and
pleasure.
talking to you again. Thank you. All right. I'll see you soon. Take
Okay,
care.
take care. Bye.
Bye.